Hey guys, King Trinity is bringing a brand new video for YBA. And today, I'm going to show you tips and tricks to be good at the game. And also some grinding methods for the game as well, to get higher level. Let's get into it, shall we? I'm going to start with Star Planet real quick. I actually got this one. I wasn't trying to keep it, I was just trying to do something else. But anyways, let's start off with the tips and tricks, shall we? Let's start off with Star Platinum. Anyways, what I think about the stand is that it's really good. Like, the base form of it, it's probably even better than the other Star Platinum, like the Star Platinum Zawado, just because its moveset is just much better. Like, sure, it has less moves, but you can always combo for. There's three styles I basically recommend: spin, boxing, and sword. Those three styles are the best for Star Platinum. Hallman and Vampire are not really that good, to be honest, with Star Platinum. Like, I'll show you why. Basically, Star Platinum doesn't. He does need range, but doesn't need moves like to knock down the opponent, because it's not how the stand works. You need moves that can like combo into it, not knock it down. Like, if you have boxing, you could do this. A combo that's really good for Star Platinum is that you have inhale, right? You must use inhale. It's really good. Oh, my bad. Sorry, that's a bad example. There. Basically, you use inhale on one of the people, they can't really fight back that well, and then you just, as soon as you press inhale on them, hold it, and then you do boxing. And once you do boxing, just combo into that and do like a star finger at the end if they don't block it, because then it'll blind them, like something like. Oh, that's the wrong button. Do that, and then you do star finger like this. It blinds the opponent. Go behind him, in my opinion. Then keep on attacking from the range so they don't know where you are, since he's blind, pretty much. I know, because I can never see a stinking thing with Star Platinum. Like, it's so hard. Like, if they get Star Finger off you, it's so annoying. Like, they cannot see you. I'm using it against NPCs, so it's a bad example. But, and also, a way to counter this is to block the Star Finger and perfect block all the hard hits. Like, it's not just that, too. You could always, if they had boxing or sword, you can block that. Like, I don't think you could block, like, the upper jaw move, like the uppercut. So what I recommend is just back away from it. Like, back away, go in, get a hit in, and do it again. And like, if you have someone that's ranged, that can probably counter the stand if they don't know how to block, or it's just hard for them. Something like spin, like maybe like a spin Sea Moon or a spin Zawado could counter Star Platinum. Like, of all the things, basically what counters a stand is mostly just range. The counters, you just have that good bit of range. It's not like you can't beat it if you don't have that much range. It just matters if you get your combos off. Also, another thing, if another user has barrage, like one of the barrage, and most likely they will, never barrage first. That's a rule. So basically, if he hit barrage first, then I could barrage back, and my barrage will last longer. And then you can start a combo of it. It's the epic counter. It's one of the most known facts. You must do this to be good at the game, because people want to do that against you, and you can't do anything about it. And also, if you face a time stop stand, and you have a time stop stand, when you use the Wardo, or you have other time stop abilities, just heal on them. Don't use it to stop the opponent. Like, if you have Zawado or Star Platinum, and then you use Zawado on that, either one, just let them jump in the air. Unless they don't do it in time, which is most likely they will do it in time. So I recommend just healing. Just press P and let it heal. You'll be fine. Anyways, even after that, like spin, I'm pretty sure it's one of the best with Star Platinum, just because how much range it has. Like, spin has a lot of range. It can cover a lot of ground, and it has a lot of hard hits. Two, you can block the first two, and then it has one that the last move, like the golden ball, whatever it's called, I don't care. You just throw that breaks their guard, go up to them, like knock them down, And then if you do aura kicks like this, they can perfect block the last one. They can, but be careful.
Bruh.
Plus, if they just block it, it won't work. Too, be careful about that. In my opinion, the best way to turn off your opponent's stand is having a move that could cancel out your opponent, like aura kicks or Zoeldo's kicks, basically. Something like that, or something like King Crimson Requiem with his scythe, or like the counter, the Raging Demon counter. There's also another stand I would like to talk about, is now Seaman. Oh, I need to make these shorter. I'm talking about the same stand too much. Alright, Seaman. It's a really good stand. Leave me alone. It's a really good stand for a lot of reasons. No. Anyways, it's a really good stand for a lot of reasons. Simon can do a lot, but if you know how to counter him, he's pretty much done for. Like, it's not like you can't do anything with it, but you might as well have a technique with it to help out. Because if you go in PvP, most likely people will just block your move. If you do the uppercut, like the star uppercut or whatever, that sends them flying in the air, you put them where they want to go. If you didn't know, when Seamoon's uppercut move, you can drag your cursor around, and whatever your cursor is, it will land to it, so you can barrage into that. What I recommend for Seamoon, at least, is just have something like boxing or sword. Those two you must have against other people. Another thing, I don't really recommend this much, but if you want to do Harmon, that's fine. It's not, you can't really get off good combos with it though, just because of how much it requires. So basically, I recommend Harmon against NPCs. I don't recommend Harmon against players just because it can be countered easily. Plus, when you have boxing or sword, it's hard to counter it. And plus, the uppercut and Y move, where you punch them and they go send flying, you could block that. Like, you could block both of the moves. Like, sure, like, I'm pretty sure the uppercut, like, breaks the guard, but it's not like they can just perfect block. They can perfect block that. You can perfect block those two moves, so it leaves you vulnerable for attacks. So I only recommend Seamoon to skilled players that know how to use the stand pretty well. Seamoon is like can be really good, but he can also, if you don't know how to use it, he can also be really bad, because if you don't know the combo, you're pretty much screwed. What I like to do with Seamoon, or I've seen a combo, what I like to see before is, like, if you have boxing or sword, you can knock the opponent down, like, get the team off, knock them down real quick, and then get them to, like, a small corner of the map. Something like, if you're, like, in Overwatch, get them, like, right here, and just barrage into them and keep on doing that, and then finish them off with, like, a jawbreaker, and they'll be dead. Like, that's an OP combo. Next thing I want to talk about. I'm just gonna roll through this just because. See what stand I get. Next thing I like to talk about is Six Pistols. It's basically just dot. All you have to do is have something like boxing or sword, and then just dash and dodge out of barrages and just keep on shooting. That's all you can do with Six Pistols, really. Since Six Pistols is basically a runaway stand, so you just have to run away most of the time. I'm just gonna off for Six Pistols right there. And also, if you don't, I recommend just learning how to perfect block, because if you don't know how, you're pretty much screwed for a lot of stands. Like Zahando could be easily countered by just perfect blocking. I'm actually going to talk about counters at the end of the video. I'm just going to tell you about good ways to test for certain stands and how to use them. Let's start with that for a while. Let's see what stand I get with this. And oh, I forgot to move it. Alright. I know this is going to be a long video probably, so don't worry. I know I talk a lot sometimes when I'm like into this, but I do it for a good reason. Oh, okay, this is actually a good stand to talk about. I don't like the stand very much. I'm not very good with it, so I can't really say much. Like, I can say a lot about it just because I've seen people use it and all their capabilities. I recommend something like, there's 3 things I recommend. This one could actually go with all of them, but in my opinion, the best one is something like boxing or spin, in my opinion. It's not that good of sword, and this is like another range stand, so you might as well keep your distance, and plus, when they do come up to you, you could also just spam certain moves. Like the spin, you can spam the range moves and it'll knock them down a bit. And if you have boxing, you can barrage them and do a finish off a hard hit. But be careful if they barrage back, because they can beat you that way. But what I also recommend is like all its moves are very annoying. Like the hook, like when he hooks you, you can take a lot of bleeding damage. Because that rod throw, it can knock you down your stand. Like it knocks out your stand, so you have to be careful around that. Because then they can just combo into you, and you have nothing to do about it. Recommend another way to defeat this. Then I'm still gonna do the counters. The way to counter the stand, it's just perfect blocking. That's all you have to do. I'm not very good at it, so I can't really beat the stand that well. But all you have to do is perfect block it, and then you're good. And then you can kill them. Like, it's not, all you have to do is perfect block one move, and they're just dead. That's all they, I know, because I've seen people, when they get perfect block with this stand, that they just instantly die. Like, they're just dead, no matter what. Okay, let's move on to the next stand, shall we? I'm just gonna use a Roku, see what stand I get, so I can show you. But if I don't get the stand, I'm just gonna play, like just tell you what you can do. I'll just talk about certain stands and blah blah blah. Another stand I'm just gonna get out of the way easy. If you use D4C, like it's just a spam stand. Just don't. It requires literally nearly no skill, in my opinion. All you have to do is spam Love Train and the clones and the bombs and say go. That's really the only moves that are really useful. And the gun too. That's why it's a really good stand, just because you can spam it so easily. And plus the cooldown is like nothing. There's literally like no cooldown. It makes no sense. Anyway, let's keep on spinning, shall we? If you're wondering, Silver Chariot is now OP. Should have got this thing again. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna keep on talking for right now. Silver Chariot also, people might think it's bad just because it's one of the most underrated stands in my opinion. Silver Chariot, but in reality, it's one of the most OP stands in the game. It's even more OP now since the buff. It doesn't need a buff. It really does not. Like one of the moves needed a buff, but they buffed it too much. Like it's too overpowered. It could get through counters. It could get through like blocks. Like if they unblock and then they're done. So it's like it's so annoying. They need to change that. Like it's Million Pricks move. If you get, it's easy to land it now. But if you hit it, they go flying into the air because they get hit so much. And then when they fall, you can just combo into them with Silver Chariot this way. Going with boxing. In my opinion, the best thing for Silver Chariot is boxing. It's no joke, just boxing. Just get boxing for it, and then you're unstoppable with Silver Chariot. Yeah. And also with Silver Chariot Requiem, I recommend getting someone like Sword or boxing. I recommend Sword more so you can get more range off of it. But that's because a lot of its moves, it doesn't do a lot of damage. Only moves that do damage are mostly just counters. Or not like counters, but moves that the opponent has to hit you with so they can just walk away. Plus you have the enhancement move that just, and plus Conqueror's Will as well. Where that's a really good move. It's a really good move. It's not something that can be, I don't think it can be countered by Golden Experience Requiem that well. Like sure, Golden Experience Requiem turn to 0 can like turn off the stand, and that's a good thing. But if they don't use the move, it's like there's not really a point because you're already on the ground. Because when they use a move, you can't just counter it with times reverse or return to 0. So recommend for Silver Chariot Requiem. The way to counter him is just like basically just trying to get away from him basically. Because since he could come to you, his user doesn't even be near you. Because since he has the H pilot move, he just come to you, run to you, do broad. Plus he takes literally when he's in pilot, I recommend just avoiding him and going for the player. But watch out, if they have boxing, they can still hit you from the player by doing an uppercut. So I recommend don't go near the stand when he's in pilot mode and try to get there. Just try to get away from the stand itself and go for the user. That's the way you can counter it. And I recommend something like a long range moves. Don't go up close, then it will destroy you up close. Because even if it... Oh yeah, this move. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, go ahead and explain right now. Anyways, like D4C and all that, blah blah blah, spam. That's all it is. Oh, scarf. That's nice. Alright, next stand. Oh boy. White Snake. I honestly recommend just like turn off the stands. I thought White Snake is like a fine stand, I guess. You could combo it with it like something maybe Harmon doesn't really work with it, like it's something you can do, it's not that well. I recommend something like sword or boxing for that. Or even vampire, really. Nothing like Harmon that much. I recommend something like boxing or sword. I think boxing's like the best for it though, because you can get more combos off of it. Plus, its abilities is to turn off the opponent's stand and specialty. So if you get that off, you could basically can't like stop your opponent's stand and specialty for 10 seconds each. So that's pretty good. The way to counter it is just to block. Like, sure, there's some you can't really block. Like that, I'm pretty sure the specialty one, you can't block that one, but you can perfect block it. So all you have to do is pretty much block and perfect block for White Snake, and then you're good. Another stand I'm going to talk about right now. Let's see, what stand should I talk about? Oh wait, hold up. Settings, stand, none, it's not going to say anymore. Alright. Let's see. Aerosmith. Yeah, that stand. At first you may think it's garbage, but it's another really good stand because it has a lot of range. It has like a barrage. It's not a barrage, but it's bullets, which if you just hold E, just cancel out your opponent, and they can't barrage you back. Like they can't do anything about it. And then you could go in, press. I forgot what button it was, but you go in, do like the propeller move, knocks out your opponent and their stand, and then you do the final move, which is the bomber, which does so much damage. I recommend something like sword, no Hammond. I recommend something like sword or maybe vampire, and maybe some bit of boxing. I think sword's probably the best with it though, to be honest. And then the way to counter it, it's just by being away from the stand. And that's gonna be hard though. Since what my opinion is, just knock the stand out. Try to knock the guy out since he can perfect block you, so it's very hard. But if you can get it, like get him stand knocked out, you're good. Because then you can barrage into him, do a combo with him, just kill him. That's all you need to do. Like it's one of the stands. It's one of the hard stands to counter in my opinion because it's really hard to do stuff with it. I'm pretty sure one of the moves you can perfect block it. I'm pretty sure the prepare move you can perfect block it. Or a way to counter it is to have King Crimson or King Crimson Requiem to like counter that out there. Blah blah blah. Or going bitch Requiem and it's like move. I forgot what it's called. I'm not remembering. Oh my gosh, you're Star Platinum. Yeah, King Crimson Requiem's really good at boxing. It used to be broken at boxing before they nerfed boxing, but it's still really good. For King Crimson and King Crimson Requiem, I do recommend boxing for them. Also, but for King Crimson, like the normal one, I do also recommend Harmon. Like, something like Harmon or boxing is good with them. I don't recommend really sword or vampire for them. Just because it's not really a good combo with it. It doesn't like match their combo strength. Anyways, let's get into the next stand, shall we? Sticky Fingers. This one, you either have to be new to the game or you're just a pro. Because people are so annoying with Sticky Fingers. The team move, they're one that you take off around and grab the opponent and they bring back to you. You use barrage with a boxing. Like boxing is the best for it, hands down. I recommend boxing all of them for Sticky Fingers. I don't really recommend stuff like Harmon or Vampire that much. Like maybe you can use it to do a good combo, but it's not as good as boxing. Like it's nowhere near as good as boxing. Sure, even if it got nerfed, it's still really good. Like with Sticky Fingers, because you can just range right here, pull them to you, and then go in the boxing barrage, and then after that do Jawbreaker, and then even after that just keep on barraging them and repeat that combo, and you're good. Like the way to defeat that is just to block it, because you can block the team move, and then perfect block and do whatever, like do a hard hit to knock them down. They can perfect block it though, so be careful. So I recommend someone to keep the opponent down, or to keep sticky fingers down. Make sure you have some distance or range against them too, because if you're up close, you could take a lot of damage or even die from it. So be careful when you're up close to him. Be ready for when the move comes, because it's going to come a lot. Because it's one of the spammable combos you can do with sticky fingers, which is a really good combo. You have to be really wary of that. Okay, now let's talk about Killer Queen and Killer Queen Requiem. Killer Queen is a really good stand. Oh, leave me alone. Killer Queen is a really good stand just because it can place bombs anywhere, pretty much. You can place a bomb on a tree and it blows up. The main point of it is just to blow up your opponent. So what I recommend is, when you go in first, make sure you got the bomb move up, and if they're barraging you, barrage them back, and if they run away, press the bomb move. I forgot which one. I'm pretty sure it's like T or Y. You can always change the move anyways to whatever key you have. Press that move, it blows them up. Blow them up, and you just repeat that combo. And plus, if you need some range against them, just summon something like sheer heart attack to keep the opponent away from you, plus it does a lot. And what I recommend is something like Hallman or something like boxing, to be honest. Actually, something like, there's actually three I recommend for it. Like Spin and Kingpin Appreciate, like okay, I heard and seen. But I recommend something like boxing or vampire. Hallman's like a good third if you wanted to, but someone like boxing or vampire, they're like nearly as equal, but I'm pretty sure vampire's like a little bit better just because of all the moves. So anyways, let's get on to the next part, shall we? Killer Queen Requiem. Boy. This stand is a really good stand for like getting away from your opponent, because it has all the same moves plus more. It gets the stray cat bubbles, which are really good. If you did not know, you could actually, if you hold that key, you got to tell where the bomb to go. So if you hold that same key to whatever you have, you can move it to anywhere you want to. Like, sure, it's very slow, but if they don't see it, you're good. And plus, even with that, the barrage is like 1.2, which is okay, which is good, but not the main thing about it. It can blow up stuff, but I recommend with it, it has a lot of moves, a good bit of range, too. So I recommend someone like Hallman to go with it, or a Vampire. Hallman or Vampire, and it's like switches. So someone like that would do really good. And I'm gonna die. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna die. Alright. I recommend someone like Hallman or Vampire for the second one, because, well, you could do a lot more damage with Hallman. And you do have the little Hallman barrage, but you have to charge it up. But something about Vampire is just better, just because it has you can do a lot of damage, you don't have to charge it up. You do have to gain blood for like the good regeneration, but that's fine. You can just like drain their blood and you'd be good. And it turns off their stand as well. So, and plus you could always click on them to do the bomb with whatever key you have, and walk away and just blow them up. And it keeps some good range, because you can just repeat that process over and over again. They can block the click though, so you have to be careful when they do that, because then they can just knock you out. But remember, you can also prefer block it. The way to counter Killer Queen, it's very hard in my opinion, since they can just turn anything into a bomb, literally anything into a bomb. What I recommend is just keep your distance away from it, have some good range to counter it, and if you get their stand knockout, go up to them, and just keep on barraging into them. Just keep on knocking them down, getting them back up, and then just keep on doing it till they're dead, and then you're good. Like, all you have to do is make sure you get away from the bombs, make sure he doesn't touch you with the bombs. If he does, and plus, Killer Queen's final move, Bites the Dusto, is a really good move. Like, it can do so much damage. Especially if Hallman, it goes up to like 80 or 7. It goes up to like 80 damage with Hallman, which is really, really good. And like, basically, the way to counter that is just when he does that move, make sure to run away as fast as you can. And plus, if he gets you, he could always like, you both go to thing, but if you dodge it, wait for him to be finished, and then go up to him and knock him out, because it's hard for him to block during that. So you have to be careful. Just wait for him to get knocked. Just wait for him to move to end. Plus, if you're barraging him, he can still do the move, so you have to be careful. Plus, if he gets to the move, you're gonna take some mad damage. Wait, like I said, the way to counter it is just to run away from Bad Sebasto. Or you have King Crimson, Golden Spirit's Requiem to turn off the move for the return to 0 move. Sorry. Just sneeze. Alright, let's get to the next stand, shall we? Alright, next stand. What stand should I do next? We're done a good bit. Zawado. Oh yeah. I don't think I've done this one yet. Basically, what do you have to do? Basically, I just recommend something like Span is okay, like all of them are okay, but what's godly with it? It's Vampire. Vampire is godly with Zawado, and for a few reasons. The fact that the new move Road Roller does a lot of damage, but it's hard to hit. But with Vampire, you can literally freeze the opponent for a good bit and use Road Roller on them, and they will take a lot of damage. You can just repeat that too. Plus, it has a lot of other range moves as well. Just do that, press the T move, whatever move thing you have for knife, and just spam that against them. And then do time skip and keep them barraging into them and do like the barrage kicks. Get them trapped in it. They can block it, but you can also just knock them down. And just repeat that process over and over again. That's all you have to do. All you have to do is repeat that process over and over again. And you're good. That's all you have to do. I know it seems like I'm not really showing you it. It's just like I don't have all the stands, but I know what you're supposed to do with most of them. Sorry if I get some of them wrong. I'm just trying to be good at doing this. It's probably gonna be a long video, so yeah. Okay, what stand should I do next? What stand can I do? Alright, what stands are there? I need. Well. Alright, right here. Okay. Oh yeah, Violet Fog. Alright, let's get that one. Violet Fog, it's just purple haze. The way I like to say that you can counter or actually be good with it, as something like sword boxing, or yeah, something like that, or even Vampire. Vampire is very good with it as well. Those three I recommend. I don't really recommend Spin for it just because it doesn't need it, and it's gonna be a waste of space. Just because no, it doesn't need that range. And plus, right now, I'm pretty sure you could go through the poison without taking damage in its rage mode as well, so you can always just steal on that pretty well. And even with that, like, Purple Haze is, I guess, can be fine. It's very good against teamers. Like I like to say, just spam the poison. That's all you can do. Pretty much with the stand, spam the poison and try to get a combo up with that. Like, maybe with someone, like with Vampire, you could just freeze them and just spam poison against them. And that'd be really good. I don't know really much about Poison Haze that much, so don't get angry at me in the comments if it's not really that well. Sorry. Anyways, let's get into the next stand, shall we? Oh boy. Oh, okay. I'm gonna start. Well, let's do some of the other stands. I'm gonna do Scary Monsters for this one. Whew, Scary Monsters. Let's talk about this one. I guess some people say they can shred with it, but an actual PvP against people that are good, it's garbage. It's just like garbage sometimes. Because its hitbox is so terrible, it needs a buff, really. The hitbox needs a real good buff. The barrage is like 1.2 or 1.1, I don't really remember, but it doesn't really do, it's fine, I guess. You can just spam the dinosaurs and the jumping moves, and doesn't have that long of a cooldown. But it's really, like I say, it's not really that hard to counter it. All you have to do is just block and perfect block and you're good. Like, it's not that hard to counter very much. It can be annoying if you're like low and there's just people teaming against you. It's really not that hard to fight against it. It's really not. And I know because I face it all the time. I even used it, but it's literally garbage in my opinion. It's not that good. And you can't really use techniques with it either because it's hard to. Plus, it lags the game off the surface, and you can't even combo it. You might as well not even use a technique with Scary Monsters. There's not a point. Alright, next stand. Let's go over... Zawado Alternate U. Or Alternate Universe. This stand, in my opinion, it just spam the bombs and spam the knives. That's all it is. You can also, it's really good to combo with boxing. I don't really recommend other ones that much. I recommend someone just like boxing and you're good. Because I know it's so annoying because the knives go through blocks, so you can't even block that. Plus, you can't block most of its moves, like the bomb. Like you throw the smoke grenade and you shoot a gun because it has a gun as well. It has a lot of range. It goes with the opponent, and then you could go up to them and box them. I don't really know a full counter to it, but what it works for me the most for it is just walk away. Like, just run away from the bombs, run away from the knives, dodge it if you can, and knock their stand out and go crazy on them. Because that's the only time you're ever going to have to get a chance of hitting them because they have so much range. That's my opinion, one of the only ways you can do that. Plus, if they do a hard hit, try to perfect block it as much as you can, knock their stand out, because then they will come back at you with the most fury possible with the spam. It's insane how much you can spam with that stand as well. Not as much as D4C, but it's still one of the most spammable stands, or the second most in the game. So you have to be careful against that. Next stand, let's move on to Crazy Diamond. Ooh, this one's a really good stand. It's really good. I know, cause it used to be my main actually. I used to be main it, but then I got bored of it, so I decided not to. But actually, what you do is it has a lot of moves. It has the pellet move or the flick and like that, and you hit the opponent. It does a lot of damage. Plus, it breaks their guard as well. You flip a piece of rock and you hit them like a bullet. It knocks down their guard, so they can't do anything for a good bit. Oh my gosh, that's what's my game. And then go up to them. Do like use the T move if you want to. The T move is good for blocking, in my opinion. Like blocks a good bit of moves. Like it could block healing for green. It's like well, Emerald Splash, and you'd be good. You have to be careful because they can just go over it or go to the side of it because it's a pilot stand as well. So that crazy diamond, but here's a great. That's a really annoying stand. Oh my gosh. The good thing about Crazy D, when it's in rage mode, get the rock to get. And if you, way it works, if you press R to the hard barrage in the rage mode, you basically get the rock trap, which you can barrage. It stays there for a good like 10 seconds, and you can barrage them non-stop with like the barrage. They can't do anything. They can barrage back, but it's not like it's gonna be able to do anything. You can't even like do a hard barrage or anything or a hard hit. Only thing you can do is a normal barrage. So just get them in them with boxing. That's the best for it. It's nothing better. Hallman can be good with it too, but I recommend boxing more just because you can get more combos off of it. Plus, when the thing's about to end, use Jawbreaker, and then after that, get them. Since you can use it 2 times, just do that again, and they're just dead. Like you can't do anything about it. Next stand. I mean, what stand should I talk about next? All right. Golden Spirit. All right. I haven't talked about that yet. Golden Experience. It just got the 7-page barrage, so it's much better than it used to be. I recommend something like Hallman with it, or something like Boxing or Hallman, to be fair. Actually, not Hallman. I recommend something like that or Sword, just because Hallman or Sword, just because you could get a good bit of range from it, and you could combo with it really well. Plus, you could always end off. You could charge up your Hallman and try to get them with 7-page Muda, which does a lot of damage. A lot. That's another. Too bad that move doesn't carry on to the Golden Spirit Requiem, but it makes sense. Then it'll be overpowered. It already is overpowered since it got the new counter. Basically, what you do is just dodge, go up in the tree, heal. You can always knock the opponent back over the tree as well. Do that, heal. The T move, I'm pretty sure it is. That's the healing move. And then go back down and just repeat that process of getting the combos off and keep on hitting them. Plus, if you're good at perfect blocking with the stand, you can be really good too. Because the only way to turn off the stand is literally just to get them their stand knocked out, which is very hard to do if they don't know if they know what they're doing. Anyways, let's talk about Golden Spirit's Requiem. And the way to counter this is just to perfect block it and try to get the stand knocked out as fast as you can, because it's pretty much useless without the stand, because you need it to combo and to heal, and when you do that, they're pretty much done for it. If you can just keep them trapped in some place, they're just done. That's why, in my opinion, to counter it, that's what I did to counter it. You might not like it, or you don't know how to do it. Yeah, all you have to do is keep their stand knocked down and keep on going for them. Like, just keep on barraging into them, comboing them with the barraging, they're just dead. But one of the scary things about Golden Experience is that its deadliest move is the 7-page Muda, but it hits so fast. You can block it, I'm pretty sure, but it's so fast, so it's kind of hard to. Like, it goes by, they could just do barrage, and once that ends, they could just do that move, and it's so hard to dodge or counter. Because you have to be really quick on your hands, which I cannot do since my hands are just not quick that well. So you have to be really quick to counter that, to block it. And let's talk about Golden Spirits Requiem, shall we? Oh boy, this stand. Alright. It used to be fine. It was not broken before. It had Return to Zero, which was fine. It turns off all times I move and turns off the stand, that's fine. And they can just run away and like try to dodge all the moves they can. I know because people do that all the time. But where its new move does make it broken. Where I recommend a special technique for the stand is Hallman. And someone like Hallman. Actually, I just recommend Hallman for it, honestly. It doesn't need all the own because it already takes a lot. I just recommend something like Hallman with it. Maybe Vampire if you're like thirsty. But I recommend mostly Hallman, just because how much you can do with it. No, you can do a lot of Hallman. Whew. I know because it's new counter move, it just like it paralyzes them for a lot, plus turns off their stand if they hit you. How you know how overpowered it is? But it's not that you attack them; they literally stand there for a good bit till it ends. It lasts a good like 8 seconds. That's really good. Plus, then you could just spam all your moves at once, like spam the life moves and spam the other moves like to take off their leg, and then spam all of them, like to spam all of them when that happens, when you get them counters into that, and then spam the barrage, like Hallman barrage on them. And they're dead. Like, they can't do anything. I know. I've seen it happen. It's so annoying. It's like, they're dead. They just can't do anything against that. So what I can recommend to counter it is just try to dodge his moves. Yes, it has Return to Zero, but you can always back away from it. And plus, sometimes it doesn't even affect you that well. Like, it turns off your stand, but if you get real close to it, it shows you the cutscene, so be careful about that. Wait, actually, no, I'm pretty sure it only shows the cutscene when you do time stop. So, scratch that. So, just run away from the guy. Just run away from him. Just do your best to run away from him. And then once he uses up all his moves to try to hit you, just go in for the hard hits and the punches, like the slight punches, to knock him away. And just keep on doing that. Like, just keep on trying to hit him down. And I recommend just doing this, not the hard hit yet, and then once you get his stand knocked out, or something like a long range stand, then that's a way to counter him. Or something that's really good up close, like Silver Chariot can counter Golden Spirits Requiem pretty well, if you know how to use it. Alright. Yeah, with Toxsat 4, you could just Spin is also really good for it. It's what Spin and Sword are good for Toxsat 4 too. Use the combos with it. Anyways, let's just talk about a different stand. What stand have I talked about yet? Oh yeah, Ice Album. I don't remember the. Oh yeah, Mr. Vice President too. Violet Vine, Tentacle Grain, Majestic Ember Void. I already talked about these stands. I haven't talked about this one yet. Alright, there's only a few left. Also, that hand. Let's talk about that hand. The way to counter it, it's just. I recommend something like Hallman or something that can not. Or Hallman or Sword. Because if they don't know how to block, then if you have Hallman, you're just good. They just insta die. But if they perfect block, you have to be careful. So if they can perfect block it, the best one for that hand is Sword. That's the best one. Because they can't really block Sword that well. I don't think you can actually block when it moves. The 3 pierce, I don't think you can block that, plus it breaks blocks. You can go up to them, use that move, and then you just spam the hand moves, and they're just dead. They just take so much damage. It's not a point of them trying. You have to be careful about that as well. But remember, once he does his hand moves, you can always just, if he does the move before he does the swords, just perfect block it, and he's dead. He can't do anything about that. He's just dead. Knock out his stand, do whatever, he's dead. He's just dead. Alright. Another stand I'm going to talk about is Violet Fawn, aka Helmet Purple. It's one of those runaway stands. You hit them with the combo, you press E, then you do Divine Trap on him. He does a good bit of damage, you press Y, you do that, and use nothing, I don't know, it's just like, just to run away, because that's a move that makes him incredibly fast. the Joestar technique. That's what it's called. And then he goes right here, runs away, press Z to run away, and then just repeat that process over and over again. I recommend someone like Hallman or Vampire. Those are the best. Hallman's really good because you do burning damage, but Vampire's also really good because you can just trap them into it and keep them a combo with it. I actually recommend more into the Vampires since you can get more stat points. Since if you don't, there's a side for Helmet Purple where if you have Hallman, you put it into a stand and you do like burning damage. You don't have to put it in at all. Just put those stat points in the Vampire, and you do really well. Alright, let's talk about the different stand. Ice Album. This is another stand that's really good, especially in the storyline. It's pretty good because you can spam a good bit of moves. Basically, you have the ice skates, which you can just run around the opponent. You're as fast as the horse in the Stillball run, so you're good. And then you just keep on spamming moves. Basically, you spam that big ice move right here. You press T, and there's this big ice glacier. Oh, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Oh, he's fine. And then you have the barrage and hard hit as well. Plus you have gently weeps, which is so useful for slowing down the opponent and doing combos with it. It's kind of hard in my opinion to see a bit. And then you could always combo into that, like slow them down so they can't run away from you. And because since gently follows you around, it just slows down the opponent really well. Just spam. All you have to do is spam the T move, which is like the big glacier. Do it like the rage ice, and then just spam the barrage once they're trapped in that. Just keep on spamming the barrage and do a hard hit. And just keep on spamming that, just doing that combo. They can dodge it pretty easily, but if you're up close to them, it's hard for them to dodge that well. And I recommend someone like Boxing to go with it, not Hallman or anything like that. I recommend someone like Boxing or even Sword. Because that's a good way to combo into him. You can do a lot of damage that way. And then you can just keep on spamming that process. Too. Whew, alright, it's been 41 minutes. I'm talking about this for a while. Alright, let's get to the next one. Next one. Alright. Which is, I don't think I haven't talked about Mr. Vice President, which is Mr. President in the anime. Mr. Vice President, it's just, in my opinion, just get them trapped. The way to counter it, it's just perfect block it. All you have to do is perfect block and they're dead. I recommend someone like maybe Hallman to do a lot of damage if you get them trapped into there, or someone like Boxing, or actually Sword more than Boxing, because you can do a lot of damage. Basically, you can just trap them into your little household thing, and then you just go into your own little household thing, and then just spam Sword and get out of there and shake the key and repeat shaking the key again, and just keep on repeating that combo if you get them stuck in there. And they just keep on spamming that. That's all you have to do is spam. The way to counter it is just perfect block it and you're good. Be just careful if they have something like Sword or Boxing. Or even Hallman, because they can still do the barrage, but it's not that hard. It's harder. Because then they can just get you down a good bit. But since it doesn't have a barrage, if they do it first, you could probably just get them back. So be careful. I just recommend just be careful around it. Honestly, just don't let them hit you with that trap move, the room. Don't let them trap them in their room, and then you're good, pretty much. Because they're basically dead. They can't do anything if they get barraged. So they're pretty much dead. Like that way. Okay, what's the next stand I haven't talked about yet? I think I've talked about most of the Requiems, but I talked about most of the things. Alright. Deadly King, oh yeah, now, let's talk about Technical Grain and Magician's Ember, and then Void. Those are the last stands. Magician's Ember, I like to talk about, is very good with Vampire. It has another move that's similar where you just traps them, you grab them, and they burn, and they go down, they just take burning damage. Then after that, you can just spam the Vampire move and just spam back and forth. Plus, it has the T move. This stand has a lot of range, and plus, all his moves do like burning damage. Except for like one, which traps them. He does like the Z, and he just traps them into like a cross shape. And then you barrage and do whatever to them. And when you do that, I recommend just using the Vampire move to get them, or the Bakuko move, which is like the burning one. And just keep on spamming that, because that's all you have to do. Honestly, I recommend something like Hallman, not Hallman. Actually, Hallman's pretty good. Magician's Red, or some Hallman or Vampire, basically, to go with them. They keep on spamming that combo on over and over. The way to counter it is just to prefer block it or get away from the Z move, because I don't know if you can block that or not. Basically, make sure you're not too close, but make sure you're not too far away either, since they can still hit you pretty well. You just have to be careful all around. You have to be careful where you go. Be careful when you're coming. Plus, once they get knocked down or once you perfect block them, they're just dead. They can't do anything about it. You just need to get them down and just keep on taking them down. Each one like that. Just keep on comboing into them. Like probably a good way to counter a vampire is like Hallman. Just get Hallman to counter it with get a stand that's good of Hallman to counter this stand that's vampire with it, and then you're good. It's not like you can't counter with all the other stands. It's just easier to have Hallman against vampire because you can do a lot of damage like the barrage and other moves. That's what I recommend. All right, let's start off the final one. I'm pretty sure. Tentacle. All right, there's two more. Tentacle Green or Hefruent. I can't say his name. I'm just gonna call him Tentacle Green because I know what it is from the anime. Like I just don't know how to say his name. I'm not very good at saying his name. Hefruent Green. I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. Understand? Basically, all you have to do is spam the Emerald Splasher and spam the trap move, like the Emerald Barrier. Just spam that, and plus you can always spam the puppet thing, the puppet move. Once you hit them, you can always spam that. They can't do anything about it. Just get them trapped in your Emerald Barrier, and then get the puppet move on them, and then just do the Emerald Splash on them, or Barrage, or whatever move you have. And then something good that's good with it is probably it's something like Sword. No, not Sword. I mean Boxing. That's really good with Boxing. I recommend Boxing for it. I don't really recommend any other ones that much. Maybe it's something like a level of Vampire. And that'll be good with it. Anyways, that should be the way to counter. It's just the dodge. Or have like, if you're stuck in the Emerald Barrier, have a stand that has something to teleport with. Or something to get out with, like something like stand jump. Or just don't walk into it. That's a good. And plus, to deal with the Emerald Splasher, most likely they're not just gonna stand there. They're most likely gonna go into pilot mode and come after you with Emerald Splash and just barrage into you. What I would recommend is try your best to dodge it, or if you have something like Crazy D or Crazy Diamond, just put on the big wall to stop them. And then when you can, like dodge your moves the fastest you can. Just keep on hitting them. Just keep on trying to combo into them, turn off their stand. Be careful when they do that. Anyways, let's get into the next one, shall we? The final one for the day. I'm also going to show you some grinding methods too that I like to do. There used to be some other things I used to do, but they took it out of the game, like the mailman quest. Rip that. Alright. Let's talk about Void. Oh, this stand used to be the pain in my butt before it got nerfed, but it's still a pain in my butt. You can perfect block it, but it's still annoying to deal with. So basically what you do is, when you encounter the stand, or when you have it, get Vampire with it. Vampire is godly with the stand, like so good with the stand. And then something like, maybe, not Sword or Boxing, something like Vampire or Hallman's good with Cream. Just because you can do a lot of combos with it, plus you could always run away and just keep on spamming the Void move. And then once you're ready, go up to them, drink their blood, and you're good. Just keep on spamming that combo. So basically, go up to them, spam the Void's move, and then drink their blood. Or if you need to run away, go into your own Void thing, and run away, and heal a bit, do whatever, and keep on going after them. Just spam that same combo. The way to counter it is to perfect block it, or dodge the vampirism move, which is very hard, but if you can perfect block him, if you use that move when he uses the move first, then you're good. Because he's just stuck there. Cream is really good at stable run as well. Like, his moves can be really useful to get away from opponents and do a lot of damage to multiple opponents at once. Alright, let's get to the next one. Or the final, that's the final stand. I hope you enjoyed that part. Now we're gonna move on to some grinding methods. Oh boy. I recommend, don't do any of these quests. When you first start out, my opinion, only do the storyline quest, and a few others. Don't do the other ones. Only one I recommend start doing, I recommend start grinding on this quest for a bit, get to like level 3, and then do the first storyline quest, that's what I like to do. 2 or 3, or not 2 or 3, I mean 3 or 4 will work, just go into that, and then do the first storyline quest, and then just keep on doing the storyline till you get to level 20. Like, just keep on doing it to level 20. That's the only way. Like, don't do any of those quests because those give nothing. Do only the level 20 and up. So let me show you. You basically grind that policeman to level 3, and you talk to Jordan Savannah to do your first quest, which is the police. And then after you defeat them, go to the code sheet. After you talk to them again, go to the code sheet. Just keep on doing the storyline quests when you can. And you just keep on doing that. And then once you get to level 20 with the storyline, go into the sewers. If you don't know where those are, let me show you. Go into sewers. If you don't know how to get there, let me show you get to the sewers. Alright. Right here. Oh yeah, when I'm gonna end the video, I'm gonna tell who's the one that asked me to do this. Somebody asked me in the comments to do this. And I would tell them I'll tell you who it is once it is. This is the Palais. Do this quest once you level 25. Alright. This is what I recommend to do. First, once you get to level 20, do Dracula to level 25. And just keep on doing that to level 30. And then, I recommend after that, if you can't defeat Devalio, which I don't recommend doing yet, like, I'll finish all the storyline before Devalio. So if you get to max level, then grind him. Once you get to level 30, you can do whatever you want to, but I'm just letting you know, this is probably a better way to grind your levels. Just grinding levels, especially once you get to like Prestige 3. Like maybe Prestige 1 is also really good too, since you don't gain as much XP. After you do that, just grind Dio to like level like 32, and then like or 33 or 32, and then you do Valio, you gain to max level if you're not Prestige 1, and then just keep on. And you just keep on grinding from there, like, you just keep on, then you proceed with the cash you have, and you just repeat that process over and over again. The only difference is, once you defeat Dio, there's a little bit more. If you like Prestige 1, you go do Jotaro, like that, or if you can't defeat them because it's too hard for you to spam Dios, but I recommend, for people that are experienced and know how to play the game, or people that go to PvP, just do Jotaro, because the way to beat him, it's not that hard. Like, the way to beat Dio and Jotaro, it's just running away from them. Like, hit them once with a barrage since they don't really barrage back that much. Like, Jotaro might do it sometimes, but it's not that hard since he doesn't really do hard hits that much. Basically, if you get trapped in the barrage, it's okay. Because when you do it, you can block. All he does is he uses Star Finger. So you just block that, and then run away, hit them back again, and keep them running away from them. Basically what I mean was like, you go up to this guy, once you hit him, run away, run backwards, have shift lock on, and keep on spamming hitting on him. Plus when he does Star Finger, just block that, and just repeat that process, because Jotaro's not that hard once you know how to counter him. He does have time stop, but if you have someone like Golden Spirit Requiem, you're fine. But if he does use it, there's a chance, just get away from him. Like a recommend is, if you have someone, like when he does it, try to hit him as fast as you can. Go to him, do a hard hit, and it messes up his combo, so he doesn't do as much damage, and you live. Too. Plus, when he does barrage, if he does it first, just block it, and then block his final move. He might do a hard hit. If you block though, he might do a hard hit, so you just perfect block that, and then you just keep on spamming that process over and over again. And the way to defeat Dio is not that hard either. I've seen what people do is just keep their distance, because since Dio can't really reach him that well, since Dio doesn't use time skip, which he should, makes no sense, but whatever. Oh, Jotaro and Dio don't even use time skip at all. Devalio is the only one that does, for some reason. Boy, I don't know. Some people like to do that. They spam that if you have like D4C, which is really good to do this as well. You just spam, like, keep them in the corner, go up here, and then just keep on down here. Repeatedly just hit the same moves. Plus, if you jump down, like and do a barrage. He doesn't do anything about it. He might barrage once in a while, but you'll be fine. Plus, you can just always prefer block it. Be careful of the move he uses though. He does the Muda kicks, so be careful about that. Because when he does that, he can take off your stand. But if you perfect block it, you're good. He's just useless that way. When he does the Waddle, be careful because he could do a lot of damage in Waddle too. What I recommend though, it's just when he does that, hit him as fast as you can. And when you do that, run away as fast. If you don't, if I have time resistance, just do like stand jump or something. Or if you don't, just like do the same thing, hit him and run away. It's gonna take him a little bit to get to you, but when it won't do as much damage, so you'll be fine as well. I don't recommend blocking. Like I do, but it's kind of weird. Not against players, but if you block against Dio, it does a little bit less damage for me for some reason. In Jotaro 2. There's another thing I recommend doing. And anyways, guys, that's my grinding method. I know it's not like it's gonna take a bit of hard work. 'Cause even if there's like an easier way to do it, it's still gonna take a lot of work to do this, the grinding method. So I'm gonna thank this guy for telling me to asking me for grinding methods, like grinding methods. All right, let me pull up his name real quick. He was in here. It was someone called. It was one of my subs named Jayden. What? Here's a stand that I think you need to counter. Basically, the way to counter. Oh wait, not that. I was talking in my chat real quick. All right, Jayden Smith. Thank you for recommending this. I was not think of doing this. Just go to him, thank him for telling me to do this. I will do stuff in the comments for y'all. That's what I try to do. And then you guys know, and I'm getting chased by Crazy Diamond. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Peace, King Crimson is up. Jayden Smith, I hope you enjoyed that. Anyways, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. Bye! Woo! That looks weird.